The moment is finally here, so it is the first day of school. So the big question that a lot of you are probably having is, how do I start class on the first day of school? In this video, I'm gonna go over my method on how I start my school year. On day one, when the kids are coming into the classroom, the first thing I like to do is play a Kahoot. On day one, I have all the students coming in, and so what I like to do is to establish a relationship with my students. I like to start out with a Kahoot about me. Kind of selfish, don't you think? Not really, because the kids want to get to know me. They walk in and they see this teacher that they've never really met before, and they want to get to know me. So what better way of doing it than with a Kahoot? It's a very short Kahoot, just a couple of questions about myself, about my second job outside of teaching, what do I do during the summer, what are my interests, movies. It's just kind of a fun activity. I tell the kids, whoever gets the top 5 gets a piece of candy. The person who gets all of them right, I report them, because it's kind of creepy that they know so much about me. It's just kind of a fun way to establish a relationship with the kids. The students have learned a little bit about me, so now it's time for me to get to know them. And that is where this comes in handy. Play-Doh. I pass around the Play-Doh to every student in the class. Every student at their desk gets a little tub of Play-Doh, and they have fun with it. And then once everyone's done, I ask each person to say their name and share their creation and explain why it's important to them. Plus, Play-Doh's a good stress reliever for the first day of school. You got a lot of new students in your class, and just being able to mold and play with Play-Doh, it helps reduce that anxiety a little bit, it reduces that stress. Day one is finished, and so now we're on to day 2. Day 2 is where I establish like a teamwork, collaborative environment in my classroom. Each class I teach has different activities. So in my AP classes, usually I have a little bit more discussion-based activity, where some of my other classes like psychology and sociology, I have a little bit more interactive activities. For my AP class, I do a discussion-based activity. So I do the bomb shelter activity. In this activity, I give my students a list of 13 people who are supposed to be in charge of rebuilding humanity after a nuclear war. But the catch is, there's only 8 spots available. So the students have to look at the backgrounds of these people, this list. They're kind of vague, they give descriptions, but they're vague, so they don't really know the full truth about the person. And once they finally get to that 8-person count, I say that there was an issue with the supplies and they have to get 5 now. The kids get very irritated by the end, but they love the activity. In my psychology class, I like to do some hand coordination activities to really get the kids going when it comes to how our brain works with our bodies. These activities really create a safe classroom environment where the kids get into the activities that we're doing and they have a lot of fun, and it's starting to introduce them to the material that I'll be covering over the course of the semester or over the year. The first activity I do is dealing with these red cups here. So what I do is I break the class into 2 teams. Each team gets assigned a certain way the cup is supposed to be sitting on the floor. So like team 1, they have to make sure all the cups are sitting upright like this. They sit upright. Where the other team has to be sure that they are sitting face down. And so what I do is I have them assign certain team members to come forward and they compete. So for 1 minute, they compete on trying to flip as many cups to their direction as possible. It gets pretty entertaining. Kids start diving on the floor, knocking cups all over the place, really competing to get the cups in the position that their team needs them to be in. It's a pretty high energy activity, but the kids seem to really like it. The next activity I like to do is doing the ball pit activity, which really is a bunch of balls from a ball pit and a balloon. So this is a good way to show the coordination between your brain and your hands. Again, it's a fun activity that gets kids out of their shell, and it also kind of provides, kind of the competitive spirit in the classroom. One member from each team comes to the front of the classroom and they proceed to throw the balloon up in the air. They have to keep the balloon up in the air as long as possible while they are throwing some of the balls into the box. It's really just trying to show the coordination between the brain and their hands. Again, just a fun activity. Day 3 is where we start getting down to business, where I actually go through the syllabus, my expectations for the class, and really just kind of establishing, okay, this is what this course is going to be about. I saved day 3 for the syllabus, really just because at this point, I've established a relationship with my kids. They are comfortable in my classroom, so now I can just lay out all the rules and expectations I have for my class, and they're pretty receptive to what I'm giving them. Another reason why I like to do this on day 3 is the kids are comfortable with me so they can ask questions about the course. Day 1, they're still a little nervous, but now since we've established a relationship, it seems to work pretty well. After the syllabus is done, that's when we actually start jumping into material. That's pretty much what I do for the first 3 days of school. In my experience, it seems to work. It helps get kids comfortable with me. I get comfortable with the kids. And really, we start to set up a great learning environment to start out the school year. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.